Are you sure that everything happening to you is just a coincidence? What if I told you that nothing is random? That every twist, every encounter, even every pain is part of a profound script, written specifically for your awakening. Yes, it sounds like a challenge, but this very challenge could be the key for you to start seeing your life in a completely different way. It's like in a video game, you can't move to the next level until you've mastered the skills at the current one. Life keeps throwing us situations until we finally learn the right lesson. There will be no empty words here, only honest reflections and deep truths, confirmed not just by centuries of Buddhist teachings but also by modern science. Let's start with the main idea: life isn't a chaotic set of events. It's more like a school where every problem is a lesson, calibrated just for you. Losing a job, a painful breakup, a sudden crisis, at first glance, it's a disaster. But if you look deeper, it's an invitation for transformation. It's that moment when the universe seems to hit the brakes and says, "Hey, the road you're rushing down leads to a dead end. Time to reconsider your route." When we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this for in my life?" everything changes. Resistance falls away, and in its place arises clarity, even curiosity. Pain turns into wisdom, and trauma into a source of strength. You're no longer a victim of circumstances, but a student of life. But why are changes so painful? In Buddhism, there's the concept of anicca, impermanence. Everything flows, everything changes. That's the law of nature. The irony is that suffering doesn't come from change itself, but from our desperate attempts to keep things the same. We cling to relationships, jobs, ideas about ourselves like a life preserver. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster the sand slips through your fingers. Attachment works the same way. We're afraid to lose, and that's exactly why we lose. Sometimes we even cling to our own suffering. Sounds strange, right? But the image of a victim or someone with a hard life can become such an ingrained part of our identity that we subconsciously fear letting it go. After all, if I stop suffering, then who am I? This attachment to pain keeps us stuck in the past and prevents us from moving forward. Letting go isn't about indifference, it's about unconditional love. It's when you allow things, people, and even your own stories to be as they are, without demanding them to fit your expectations. It's like breathing, you can't take a new breath without exhaling. When we let go of the old, we make room for the new. And this is where karma comes in. Forget about mysticism and punishment. Karma is a simple and elegant law of cause and effect. Every action, word, even thought is a seed. What you plant today, you will reap tomorrow. If you radiate gratitude, life begins to respond in kind. Karma is your mirror. The situations and people who trigger you reflect your inner patterns. Imagine you repeatedly find yourself at jobs where you're not valued. You switch companies, but the story repeats itself. It's easy to blame bosses and coworkers. But what if it's a mirror? What if it reflects your own deep-seated insecurity about your worth? Maybe you don't believe you deserve more, and the world just confirms this belief. As soon as you realize this, you stop being a victim. You take responsibility. And responsibility isn't guilt, it's power. It's the recognition, I influence my life. And if you influence, then you can change it. That shift is the beginning of true awakening. So how do you work with all of this in practice? The key is mindfulness and acceptance. Mindfulness isn't some complicated meditation technique. It's simply the ability to be here and now. It's when you drink tea and actually taste it, instead of replaying problems in your head. These moments bring you back to reality, pulling you out of the endless stream of thoughts. Acceptance, in turn, isn't resignation. It's the end of fighting with reality. It's when you say, yes, this is how it is. This happened. Fighting facts takes huge amounts of energy. As soon as you accept a situation, that energy is freed. Here's a simple practice. When something unpleasant happens, stop for a moment and ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking about? What is this situation teaching me? This short pause breaks the automatic reaction. And here's another technique: name the emotion. When you feel anger, for example, try saying to yourself not, "I am angry," but, "I notice that the feeling of anger has arisen in me." That way, you separate yourself from the emotion. You are not the anger, you are the one observing it. And in that space between you and the feeling, your freedom of choice is born. And the most interesting part, all of this is now confirmed by science. The phenomenon of neuroplasticity proves that our brains can change. Every conscious thought you have literally rewires your neural networks. When you're angry or scared, the amygdala, the ancient fight or flight center of your brain, is activated. But when you pause, breathe, and observe the emotion, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the more developed part of the brain responsible for logic and self-control. Regular mindfulness practice kind of calms down the overactive amygdala and strengthens connections with the prefrontal cortex. As a result, you become less reactive and more balanced. You're not just thinking positively, you're physically creating new pathways in your brain, ones that lead to calmness and resilience. Spirituality and science are no longer at odds. You're the sculptor of your brain, and your tools are your attention and intention. So, to wrap it all up, nothing in your life happens by accident. Every event is part of a bigger plan, aimed at your awakening. Every hardship is a lesson. Every change is a chance to let go of the old. All you need is to stop fighting and start observing. Accept. Take responsibility. And be here and now. Life turns from a struggle into a dance. You stop swimming against the current and start using its power. This path doesn't begin with huge changes, but with a single, simple, yet conscious step. With a single breath. With a single question to yourself. With the decision to no longer be a victim of circumstances, but to become the author of your story. If what we've talked about resonates with you, please support this video with a like and subscribe to the channel so we can grow together. And write in the comments the phrase that will become your intention: "I see meaning in everything that happens to me." Let this be your first step toward a new, mindful life. Thank you for your attention.